Hey class, Mrs. Jones here. Today we're going to talk about subtracting a negative number. And what I want to show you is what this means whenever you're subtracting. Another word for subtract is to remove. Okay, make it go away. So subtracting a negative is the same thing as removing a negative. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's start as if we were playing 0. Here are my 4 cards. Right now, if I collect all the positives and all the negatives, what I have is 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 2 is 8. I have 8 plus negative 7. Okay, so right now, my score, 8 plus a negative 7, is 1. Now what I want you to do is I want you to notice what would happen to my score if I said I have a score of 1, right? Because I have a score of 1 for this whole hand, and I remove negative 7. Interesting, because that looks funny. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and remove or take away negative 7. Now, what is my score? Well, 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Huh. So you're telling me that 1 minus a negative 7 is 8. That is just like 1 plus 7 is 8. What? My brain just exploded a little bit. So what I'm trying to show you is when you remove a negative, it's gone. The negative is gone. And now we have a plus sign in between. And that is exactly what our rule is for positive and negative numbers. Let me see if I can show it to you simpler. Here's our rule written down. When you have minus negative with no numbers in between, okay, so there's not a number right here. They're right next to each other, just like in our example. When you have 2 negatives right next to each other, it means remove the negative. Now it's plus a positive because we removed the negative. It's gone. Okay, let's start with 3 examples. For the first one, I have 4 minus negative 3. Now if I use my rules and I see these 2 negatives right next to each other, that means I would rewrite it as 4 plus a positive 3, or just 4 plus 3, which would be 7. Now, sometimes people like to put parentheses around a negative number. I could have put a parentheses here, around this negative number. It doesn't change what you're doing. Some people just like it. So don't let the parentheses mess you up if you see them. This does have a minus and a negative with no numbers in between. That parentheses doesn't count. So I would rewrite this as 5 plus positive 2. See how I removed the negatives? And again, that equals lucky number 7. Woohoo, having fun. But wait, what if the first number is negative? I know I'm supposed to remove these 2 negatives in the middle because it says remove the negative. So it's plus a positive 4. What about this negative? No, you do not remove it. This part's just fine as it is. Bring it on down. Okay? You're only getting rid of the 2 in the middle that said remove the negative so that it would look like this. So when I solve this problem, I need to go back to my integer rules and realize that I have different signs. This one's positive, sorry, and this one's negative. So different signs means I would subtract and get a 1. Okay? This type of problem right here is the most often missed question. So I want you to pay special attention to that negative at the front. It stays the same. The only thing that we're fixing with this rewriting is these 2 negatives that are together in the middle. Let's try a few and see how you do. Let's look at these 3 problems. Go ahead and write them on your paper. The first one is -3 minus -8. The next one is 4 minus -5. And the last one is 2 minus -2. Take a moment, see if you can rewrite and solve these. Go. For our first example, if I remove the negative in the middle, I end up with -3 plus 8. Remember to keep the negative on that first number there. We didn't change that at all. Just these 2 in the middle. That would mean we're using different signs, subtract, and I would end up with a +5. For the second one, we would do 4 plus +5, because even with the parentheses there, those are 2 negative numbers without any numbers in between. So 4 plus 5, 9. And the last one, we would rewrite this to be plus a +2. 2 plus 2 is 4. How'd you do? I bet you're great. We're going to do one last check. Make sure you've got it solid. Okay, so I want you to write down these 4 problems on your own, rewrite them, and solve. Go. Okay, let's check. First one, we had 4 plus +3 equals 7. Second one, -2 plus +5 equals 3. Third one, 2 plus +3 equals 5. And the last one, -4 plus +2 equals -2. All right, time to practice.